Well, hello and welcome back everybody to Motorsport Manager, the GT series playthrough. I want to start this episode by saying if you haven't gone and seen my single-seater opening of the Asia Pacific Super Cup, go and watch that now. That was spectacular. Didn't expect what happened, but you can go and watch that for yourself. And if you have watched it already, I hope you enjoyed it. But it's GT series today, 12th and 14th last time out. We're now, as we have for a few races, starting to get beset with the reality of our situation. And I would say now is a good time to stop spending money on the car, but we don't have any money to spend in the first place. We're lying 6th in the championship. There's 4 points covering 4th to 7th. 8th is my minimum target for the season. But if we can maybe get a couple of strong results due to strategy or weather, then we could well fight with the guys around us. But for the moment, 8th is my main concern and my main target. So let's get on with everything today, shall we? Again, I don't think we're going to be doing much. We did talk about starting to look for drivers that can boost our marketability, and maybe getting a reserve driver that we could put in that slot to put into a practice session. That we could maybe get a paid driver so that we get paid a little bit for putting a driver in practice. And if they've got pretty strong reliability, it could be someone we could start training up to take over from Vosu or Dreyfus. So let's start the episode from having a look through that. Now, they're going to have to be able to drive in both series. No, that's not true. What am I on about? GC series. And they're probably going to have to be from our championship or the European Racing Series. So let's just pick a few random drivers. We've got till the end of the season to decide on this, because I don't think we're going to have the money to bring someone aboard just yet, and quite a lot of them are going to have contracts till the end of the year anyway. But let's just start scouting a few drivers. So we're going to scout Piloto there, William Evans, Cabral, and that's all the slots we've got. And then we'll get a few people from our GT series, GT Challenger series, after they've finished. Ideally, we want someone young that's got the potential to be in the race seat, but they don't necessarily have to be. If we can bring on aboard a paid driver, maybe just for next season, then we could. And to be honest, I haven't actually decided if I'm going to get a new driver for next season yet anyway. A lot of that is going to depend on our prize money and our budget for next year, depending on where we finish. This is what we've really got to turn around though. We're still the worst on the grid. Still the worst car. Our headquarters are pretty good, and our staff are also the worst, which isn't great. But they're the things we've got to work on. So we've got 2 offers in the fixed payment slot, which is really going to help us just keep enough money in the bank till the end of the season. So we'll wait till maybe we get one more offer before we approach those, and we need to take a look then at what we're improving. Our suspension and our brakes have still got quite a way to go. So still, well, actually brakes are almost at max. Suspension's got quite a bit to go. Reliability, I am going to put one more reliability slot on those brakes, just to try and get them above 80. I'm going to switch this gearbox over to that suspension. If we can get everything before 80 before the next race, I'll be pretty happy with that. If we can get a couple more parts on the car before the end of the season, that'd be great, but I'm kind of resigned to the fact that this is probably our car till the end. It's probably the smartest thing to do so we don't get in a huge amount of debt. Right, we've got a new vote to remove the bonus for the fastest lap. We've only got 1 vote available. I'm going to use it. I'm all for removing it. It's artificial, and even if you strategize to try and just get the fastest lap, you very rarely do. So I'm all for that being removed, to be fair. It should be all about the race positions. You don't get points for qualifying, and you shouldn't get points for a fastest lap either. Right, it's approved. We didn't really need to vote, but I wanted to be sure anyway. So that'll be removed for next season. Now we can take a look at our fixed payments then. So 350 up front, 250 for 8 races, definitely not. 400,000 for 10 races, that's 4 million. And 9 races, 350. Rayeli and Co, welcome aboard. That's the best offer on board. 400,000 per race weekend is going to be pretty useful. I don't think it's going to change much because we've just effectively swapped a sponsor. So if we don't get any prize money, any payments from sponsors from getting an objective, we're only losing 692,000. Bear in mind, at the beginning of the year, we were losing 1.1 million per race. So you've really helped turn things around, and hopefully by next season that will be a positive, and that's what we're going to need to push the car forward. I think we are still going medium on that. I mean, you could go to low, and then you're only losing 392. To be fair, next year is going to be pretty important for us, so I'm going to keep putting that money in there, and hopefully our sponsors can help us tick along. I would have really preferred that fixed payment to have been an upfront one, but at least it stops the rot a little bit. And the next one is going to be in 3 races time. Yeah, we're going to be losing some money. There's not much we can do about that. Right, performance is finished. We'll address that in a minute. Right, Piloto is the first person that we scouted. Right, so this is what we've been ignoring, and some great advice in the comments has been suggesting we look out more, because it's the most important thing in terms of getting the budget to be able to move the car forward, and that's marketability. So while she might be a pretty good driver, her marketability is terrible, and we really need to start getting that up. I mean, at the moment we're at 58, and you can see Dreyfus there, the effect she's having. We should be in the 70s if we had someone that was similar to Jacob. Although Dreyfus is slightly the better driver, Voss is maybe better for the team. There's only so much the driver can do, remember, in the race, if they haven't got the car. Right, Evans there, 32%. There's a little plus symbol, I'm not quite sure what that's about. It might be from a bonus. Yeah, it might be from that cycling racer, which runs out in 16 weeks. Alright, let's add a couple more drivers. Let's go to our GT Challenger series this time. We'll look at Sololin. We'll take a look at Santori, who's actually from the European Racing Series. I'm trying to look at relatively low cost per race, because we are still going to be budgeting next year. We'll look at Chris Cannon as well, and Daisy Parker after these 3 have finished. Right, let's take a look over here, see if there's any more improvements we can make. Both engines could do a bit of work, and we still got some to improve in the gearboxes. But brakes and suspension are now at max, which is good news. Oh hey, just noticed that was on. Yeah, let's go 10-10. Okay, it's pretty tough, this GT series, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the challenge, and I'm hoping you will stick with this series, and will, like me, be rewarded by the day that we actually start making progress in terms of the car. We've made a lot of progress this year in terms of our results. The car is still, I just want to see it tick up to 9th, which we're not going to be able to do this season. But next year we definitely should. Server problems. Never had this one before. We have some work being done on our data center and our networking capabilities at the moment, and the technicians have found that data storage is a bit out of date. The chairman caught wind of it and now wants to upgrade the entire system. It'll cost a fortune. Okay, so there's no real benefit to us apart from the chairman happiness. Where are we at? We're very secure at the moment, so I'm going to decline that because there's no real benefit to us, and we can afford to take the hit from the chairman at the moment, so I've got no problems with that. Right, we are about ready. Performance work completed just in time, and I think that means every single part now is at max. We will go for the 250,000 of Luxina, 12th or above, just about achievable, I hope, this weekend. Both drivers are mostly angry at the fact that the car is terrible, but there's not much we can do about that. I think it's going to be the same layout from the last race. It is. We got a lot of performance improvement this time, so maybe we'll see a little bit of progress. But I'm going to get practice done, and I shall be back with you for qualifying. Okay, so we're here for qualifying. Both drivers 96% in practice, pretty good. Very unusual track. We're back at the oval of Phoenix, and it meant that we were able to get the setup dialed down very quickly because it's such a short lap that it's very quickly back into the pits. And it meant that we actually got level 3 on both qualifying race, soft tyres and medium tyres for the first time this season. It also means that Dreyfus has almost finished her first lap, and she's going to go over in a 36.2. Vosu coming around to the final bend now, or the last bit of the straight, is it pretty much what the whole of this lap is. It's a couple of tenths down, or a tenth and a half down, 36.3. Both times looking pretty uncompetitive, I must say. But it presents an interesting challenge, the oval. There is an upcoming DLC for this, and I do wonder. I like the idea of the challenge modes, which is what it is, but I do wonder whether a different discipline would have been a bit better. Obviously they added the GT cars last time. Endurance racing or even oval racing, sort of a NASCAR style series, I would love to see, and that's what I kind of want them. Modders can only do so much with the game, and they've done a lot, but they can't really add completely different types of racing unless that's coded into the game. So I would like to see that, potentially, but the oval is very tricky, very short lap. It's going to be difficult for our car because obviously the gearbox and the engine aren't the best, and the things that we concentrated on, because they were a bit cheaper, the brakes and the suspension, aren't really going to be used here at all. So we could be in for a pretty tricky weekend, although Dreyfus is 18th and she's could possibly get to Channel Farah with her final run. We shall see. As it's only 36 seconds round, we can sit in the garage for a little bit and go out when the track is at its grippiest. We could have even done 3 runs, to be fair, but just burning an extra set of tyres, really. We're not suddenly going to get half a second quicker. We might get a couple of attempts. And we'll see if both our drivers can do that in the final run. But I'm predicting it's going to be a very tricky weekend for us, unfortunately. Right, let's wait for this gaggle of traffic to go, and then we can strap some new soft tyres on the car and go again. And then we'll send Vosu out afterwards. I might have got him right in the middle of that traffic, although yeah, most of them are pitting, so we're okay. We are okay. We can actually do qualifying in speed 1 on an oval because it's so short round. We'll see if Dreyfus can improve. We don't really have the car for this track. I will point that out now. So she's got a 36.2 to beat as she comes up to the line now. And it's a 35.9. She takes 2 tenths off and does get 1 position up. Can Vosu do anything similar? Can he get into the 35s? Crosses the line. It's a 36.1. It is an improvement, and some of that may be down to the driver, but I think a lot of that is down to the fact we were the last 2 cars on the track and we got the maximum grip available. So 17th and 19th, I'm happy enough with that. The race is going to be where we can make up positions. Qualifying has been the toughest of times all season long. So let's get ready for this race now then. Looks like it's going to be nice and dry, so no strategy from that point of view. We just need to make sure that we try everything we can. It'll be interesting to see how the tyres and things will do here. We don't have any refuel. That is the most useless thing in the world. If this rule stays for next season, we may as well replace that mechanic, because that's really not a useful thing at all. We'll go for soft tyres and race trim. Dreyfus, we will go engine expert, and we will go for race trim so that we get that benefit on soft and medium tyres. I think we're going to split the tyre strategy. We're going to put Vosu on the softs and we shall put Dreyfus on the mediums. It's great to be able to actually use those compounds, as we don't have to refuel. We have fuel tanks big enough. Single seater European Championship. It's just pointless, as I've gone over before, so I won't go over that again. Right, we're going to attack. Actually, we're just going to push and high. Turn those engine modes down as soon as possible. But we will attack and try and get forward a little bit. So no need to go too ham as we are on the medium tyres with Dreyfus and Fossey starting from 19th. But we're underway. And immediately we go to the back of the field. I have a horrible feeling this is going to be how our day is going to go. Although Vosu making some moves now on those soft tyres. If he can get through those medium tyre runners early, that's going to be pretty useful for him. Equally, if he gets stuck behind them, that's going to ruin his afternoon. So it's very cold out there for some reason. It's 28 degrees, but tyres aren't warming up, so it's not cold at all. Just can't warm up those tyres seemingly. So we'll keep on push for the moment as Vosu continues to sway through the field. He's up to 13th now. We use a little bit of boost just to get clear of that group, and he does. This is probably the most useful track of the season for the NG recovery systems, because it means that wherever we use it, we're always going to be on a straight. It also means realistically you wouldn't recover it very quickly, although I don't think the game replicates that purely because you need braking zones to recover the energy. But we'll skip over the fact the game probably ignores that. We're going to go back to medium now because we need to make this fuel last till the end. Dreyfus, we're going to use her boost out of this corner. She's made her way back up to 15th as well, and that boost gets her to the front of the medium tyre runners into 14th. Fernley tried to use his boost there, but just ran straight into the back of her. And at first glance, everything's going okay. We need to go back. I'm going to go to conserve on both cars though, so we burn those tyres up badly. And actually immediately we start dropping places. I'm going to go to neutral. We should have dropped that back a lot earlier, but that's my fault. So 12th and 16th for the moment. Vosu nicely up with those soft tyre runners. Dreyfus at least keeping pace with the mediums. So we should be in good stead here. Vosu is going to need to pit pretty soon. We can probably leave the cars out a little longer than we would normally do here because it's a very short lap. Some guys starting to make their first pit stops now though, so we'll bring Vosu in this time around. So it's going to be... we could do a two-stop if we run mediums twice. So I think we'll try that. I don't really want to go to three stops. Put 25% charge in and balanced. And Vosu will come in from 8th place, but realistically he's a little bit further down than that. Right, in comes Vosu to put the medium tyres on. Hopefully the ERS won't fail. Dreyfus can probably get a few more laps in. So it should be a two-stop strategy for both cars as long as we make use of the... make sure we don't overheat the tyres again. That's what happened with both cars on the first run. Vosu comes back out in 20th. Did something happen in his stop then? He's got maximum charge, so let's get that used. Dreyfus we'll bring in this time around. We'll go mediums again and hopefully we can do a short stint on the soft tyres at the end. A little bit of charge in there. what happened with Vosu? I just want to have a look at that. Because that was a really bad stop. 34 seconds in the pit lane. We should be able to have a look at other people's pit stops. I don't know why we can't. Live time in tyre history. I thought we could. Apparently we can't. Okay, we'll compare it to Dreyfus' stop now. I don't think it was too long. But he's lost a lot of positions that I wouldn't have expected him to. Right, Dreyfus in now from 7th. She will go to the back of the field, or she'll be out after Vosu anyway. She comes back out ahead of a couple of cars. 33 seconds, and there was a mistake. So, yeah, but not the best pit stops from both drivers. Vosu, as it's shaken out, is in 14th. Dreyfus in 16th. Dreyfus is going to have the advantage that she's going to have the soft tyres on the final stint, where I think as most of the field will be on the mediums still. We just have to keep an eye on tyre temperatures and make sure she can go the distance needed to run those soft tyres at the end. We're into the blue flags now, which is a disaster. I remember how bad this was last year. It's bad on most tracks, but on an oval it is catastrophic. Because wherever you're letting people through, you're literally losing 20-30 mile an hour to let people through. And an oval is all about momentum. You should look at what's happening here. She's just letting everybody through. She is still in 17th though. Yeah, I will have to do that as well, so hopefully it doesn't catch her out too badly. But she was about 8 or 9 seconds behind Vosu when she came out. She's now 14 seconds behind, and that is mostly because of blue flags. Vosu's actually in a pretty comfortable 14th at the moment. All those guys, all the people around Dreyfus are, I'm pretty sure, are people that ran medium tyres in the first stint. So I would imagine they're all going to run the soft tyre for the final stint, so they'll be a bit quicker. People starting to come in for their second stops now, and that's very early. So I wonder if they are going to be free stopping. They should be okay actually, mediums to the end. They'll be pretty worn by the end. Alright, Vossi's got some charge. We're going to use that. He's inherited 13th after Leah's pitted. And he just he's just let people through again there. Blue flags. And 2 cars overtook him, but he actually got the position back off Minzy. Lee is now through though. And Vossi's starting to struggle. So we're really struggling with tyre life here. I'm going to switch both to conserve just to try and get a few more laps. Again, we didn't manage the tyre heat properly, and that has hurt us. But I would imagine everybody's probably in the same boat. Actually no, there's a lot of people that are on backup. Just to try and get those tyre temperatures under control. Right, how far has Vosu gone on these so far? 14 laps, 12 laps to go. He should be fine then to take his next stop now. We'll just try and take it easy on this set of tyres, and he should get to the end. So in Vosu comes. We could have tried the undercut a few times this race, which we probably missed out on the opportunity to do so now. I don't know that it would have made too much difference. I'm kind of consigned to the fact that our car is not good in a straight line. Our gearbox and engine are awful. So that's what's really hurting us here. Vosu now falling foul of the blue flags. Oh, it's a nightmare. Now he's getting back. It takes so long for him to get back on the power. It's a joke. It's almost a joke. And it seems to have got worse since a recent patch that they said they were focusing on fixing blue flags, and it seems to have made it worse. It's really not good. Right, Dreyfus can probably come in now. She's gone a bit too far, but at least she'll have some nice fresh soft tyres till the end of the race. Everything with the parts is looking good, so she'll be able to push pretty hard to the checkered flag. She's probably going to come out behind Vosu. Maybe she'll be able to get a couple of cars back. We shall see. Oh, there's a mistake in the pit stop. That's cost us 5 seconds. And that's destroyed her race, and she's now last. That's why you need the best engineers. Destroys your race. We'll go back onto neutral. Because we've been lapped so badly, we've got a lot of fuel we can use. So let's kick it up a gear. Let's use that extra fuel. I'm struggling to see how much extra fuel Dreyfus has got, to be fair. Can I do it if I do pit? 4.71. Okay. As I've mentioned before, my little recording icon is right over the blue flags, for fuck's sake. This is a joke. Well, she just got 19th, I guess. Oh, man. She's now caught up with Vosu. She's now gone into 18th, 17th. Is she going to get Vosu in the same corner? She does. She's sweeping through up to 16th. We'll wait till she gets a little clear and then we'll use Vosu's charge, which we can use now. He's now having to try and unlap himself. So Dreyfus is going to come across in 16th place. Vosu's going to come across in 17th. It's a disastrous race, really, but it was always going to happen. A long oval, gearbox and engine not really up to scratch. And to be honest, I'm quite happy we beat a couple of cars. That could very easily have been 19th and 20th, that race. It was a bit of a lackluster one, I'll admit. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. It's not going to help our championship standings at all. So Vosu's actually held on to 9th, just about. Dreyfus has dropped 1 position to 11th. And we remain 7th in the championship. So we've now fallen off that group of cars ahead of us. We're still ahead of Orleans, but that gap has now closed up to 26 points, and then Corsa are a further 7 points behind. So this is going to be a bit of a fight to get that 8th place. I said I was targeting it, and it's not going to be easy. Hopefully we can get back towards the tail end of the top 10, sort of 10th to sort of 14th is sort of our minimum if we want to hold on to that 8th place. But at the moment, we're doing okay. Those early points early in the season are what have really saved us. And we've just got to fight for everything to make sure we can maintain it. And then I think next season we're just going to have to do a much better job. We're going to have to sort out our finances. If we lose some drivers, we go for a lot lower pay from drivers, get pay drivers, increase the marketability. That's really what we're going to have to go for, because we really need to start improving the car. A huge decrease to Jacob's stats there. I wonder if he's injured himself or got some kind of trait. We lose 690,000, and for the first time in a long time we see that red bank balance. That's no good. But it was inevitable, really. There's only 3 races left, so it can't get too bad. At worst, we'll lose another, what? 1.8 million? So that'd be about 2 million. So we can deal with that. I will just check. I don't normally do this. I'm just going to... Something happened to Vosu. Vosu was actually a Phoenix expert. Can you believe that? Dangerous jeweler. No idea why we got such a minus from that race. We may find out next time. Anyway, keep your help and advice coming for what we can do for next season. If anyone has got some drivers for this championship that they can recommend, I shall start scouting them. Either for being able to improve them to be some of the best drivers in this championship, but maybe cheap to begin with, or whether they have a good marketability for a good price. Preferably all free and a paid driver. But if you know anybody, it saves a bit of scouting time. Do let me know, and I'll see if we can get them in the car if they're suitable. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Do go and watch, as I said, the opening of the Asia Pacific Super Cup in the single-seater playthrough. That was some race. And we shall be back again very soon with some GT racing. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.